Aloha and welcome to our Kauai County Council Roundup. I'm Vice Chair Kipukai Kualii, and with
Aloha,
me
I
is,
am Council Member Bernard Carvalho.
and we're here today on behalf of Chair Rapozo, who
Rapozo.
typically hosts these roundups. And we're sharing an update on our committee meeting agenda for yesterday, April 16, 2025. So we just had 3 committees meet, the Planning Committee, the Finance and Economic Development Committee, and the Committee of the Whole. So in the Planning Committee, we worked on 4 different bills, and actually all 4 of these bills has to do with the same topic, and it's 15 acres of
15
land
acres.
just south in Makai of our Limaola development in Elele, Kauai. And the landlord there is Kauai Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
And some of the representatives was there in the room as well. So I'll go quickly through the 4 different bills. Bill 2945, basically it updates our 2018 Kauai County General Plan to describe and delineate by metes and bounds descriptions of that 15 acres. So the 15 acres is for Habitat Ele Iluna Phase 3 development, which is actually planned for 87 units. You remember? He
Yes,
said in the
87
meeting,
units, that's what it is.
that's
yes.
quite a bit. And they said the first 20 could be developed pretty quickly. So then 2946, it actually updates the state land use
State land.
district for the same 15 acres, and it moves it from agricultural to urban in keeping with the general plan. And then Bill 2947, it updates our county's zoning map, ZMH 200, to reflect the zoning designation update from agricultural to residential R6. And then the last bill, Bill 2948, updates our 2020 West Kauai Community Plan to describe and delineate also by metes and bounds the descriptions for that 15 acres for habitats development. And then, and so Kaina was there, our planning director.
Yeah, he was there and he kind of did a good,
Did all the
delivery. And I think the
descriptions
total
and-
amount, I think was 27 acres, but of that 15 acres, right, is what we're talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
And again, how like Council Vice Chair said, the Limaola project, it's kind of that lower area.
Just that lower part,
not
close to the
close.
main highway there.
So it's right there on the highway. Just to clarify the location.
All still with excellent views of the ocean.
Very, very beautiful views of the ocean, yes.
And then in both our Finance and Economic Development Committee and our Committee of the Whole, all we had was the approval of minutes. From last week's minutes. Last week's minutes. Meetings. Get it out. Yeah, and so that was it actually for our council meeting. And since we had such a very quick update, roundup here, I wanted to maybe do a quick update on, and maybe we'll follow up later. I'll talk to Chair about doing a more in-depth update on our first round of the budget. But we just had our first round of the budget the last couple of days of March and the first few days of April. It was like a week long where all the different departments came before us and did the basic presentations, starting with the mayor and the folks from the budget team giving us an overview. So basically, the budget is operating budget is at 347.7 million, and the capital improvement budget is at 140.4 million. The total revenues at 372.2 million is a 5.3% increase over fiscal year 25. The majority of our revenues come from real property taxes. For fiscal year 25, it's 240 million. And then the biggest expense in our budget obviously is our salaries and the related expenses that go with that, the benefits and all. So 55.8% of our budget is on salaries. And
I think the other one is the equipment is a big one for the
it's
people
pretty big.
to understand the big
And
upgrades.
there's been a lot of deferred maintenance, so now
Deferred
they're getting to
maintenance,
that. Leasing of equipment for police and
police,
fire.
fire.
One exciting thing for me was how that we're continuing to make the housing investment. So our housing development fund, an additional 14.1 million this year. So
And then
lots to do with housing, and we really can't have too much funding. So every bit helps. Every bit helps. Yeah.
And then the capital improvement part, which is a big one, right? I mean, obviously we allocated for just everybody knows it. Vidina Stadium,
Exactly.
Convention Hall, right?
Exactly.
And of course, Waimea.
A lot of our projects with like parks and recreation, right? A lot of the courts needing
Courts, upgrades,
redone.
the convention
You'll
hall.
see
the
a lot of
entire
it is under
roof of the
construction
convention
now,
hall,
too.
the roof and everything. So
Yeah.
those are pretty major capital improvement projects that are committed in our budget here.
The one thing I would say too, this is like my maybe 10th budget, and for Councilmember Cavallo,
Yeah.
it's his third as a council member,
member.
but he had 10 before that as mayor, right? But one thing I'll say is that because the vacant positions is the highest item in our budget, the council reviewing the vacant positions and making sure that the county either
Excuse me, not
fills
the
it.
council vice chair Kualii.
Yeah, well,
I want to
I've
say that
taken
because you
the
did a good
lead
job
on
on
it.
following
yeah.
through on every single position,
Well,
which is good.
For several years back,
Yeah.
we got the administration to provide this vacancy review
Yes.
report for budget, and I've kind of demonstrated to my other council members how to go through that just by doing it. Go through the report and question the vacancies and when they will be filled. And if a position is not going to be filled as of July 1st, then it shouldn't be budgeted for. I mean, there has to be some allowance for flexibility, and there is, but when you have millions and millions of dollars that is surplus at the end of the year because they didn't fill the position, and in some of the cases, those positions are hard to fill, and they can anticipate that they're not going to fill it. So we want them to more correctly do the budget. So over the years, because of my efforts and the vacancy review report, the administration has gotten better and is doing a much better job. And a lot of times I don't even have to ask the questions.
already-
They get
yeah.
this included in their report. So that's really good to see. I mean, the one department, if anything, that's still kind of struggling is the police department. But we'll stay on them and work with them and with human resources as well. And they have the biggest challenge too as far as filling their vacancies. So we do
I remember
allow
another
some
thing
flexibility.
that was brought up that they, being creative, looking at hiring, but instead of hiring outside, looking at unfilled positions, and then instead of a full-time position, 2 half-time positions.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Well,
sharing
and police
that was
did
part
this
of some
thing
of
where
the-
they did a special
Yeah,
training position,
Yeah.
and in fact now
Being creative.
fire is following that.
Yeah.
There is a provisor where fire is following them on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the one provisor you mentioned about the 2 positions.
2 positions, yeah.
Changing 1 position into 2 positions
positions.
is a proviso recommendation. The one thing that I did notice is that it just basically says that agencies may convert full-time position to 2 part-time
part-times,
positions
yes.
using temporary position numbers. And then, it's only temporary. The one thing that kind of caught my eye, though, is that when you start, tinkering with the positions, you have to work with the unions. So I am going to recommend to Human Resources or the mayor's office in this proviso to add a little bit of language that at least recognizes that according to the state law, they have to do consultation with the union representatives too as well. So that was just one thing. That was just an overview.
So, just one last
One
thing.
last
but
thing,
one
go
more thing,
ahead.
no, that again, one more time, just so everybody understands. The operating budget is 247.7 million,
Yep.
and capital improvement is 140.4 million. I mean, just to
Investing
reflect back
in
that
our
again,
infrastructure.
investing in everything in our
Fixing the
infrastructure.
things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec. All right, so this
Okay.
is the roundup, and Councilmember Cavallo and I are happy to be
Aloha.
with you. We thank Hoike and we thank Roger, and we'll see you next week or with Chair. Aloha.
Aloha.